Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is the International Youth Day, and we're excited to hear from a few amazing young leaders across the BRAC network. Each of them has demonstrated what youth action looks like in their own context and community, from Bangladesh to Rwanda to Sierra Leone. Young people in the global south are not waiting for change, they are leading it. Young people understand their communities the best, they live the challenges, and they know the solutions. When young people lead, communities grow stronger, more resilient, more equitable. Listening to them is no longer optional, it is essential. On this Youth Day, BRAC reaffirms that commitment to listen to what youth wants, what they feel, what they need. My name is Paroma Afsara Husain. I am the director of the Accelerating Impact for Young Women, or the AIM program at BRAC International. Today, I'll be your moderator. It's my absolute honor to share the stories of these young leaders with you, stories of their dreams, their struggles, their resilience. I will begin and I'll ask each of our panelists to briefly introduce themselves. Sadia, why don't we start with you?
Thank you, Parma. My name is, as you said, Sadia Islam. I'm from Bogura, Bangladesh. Academically, I recently completed my master's in English literature, so I'm very interested in human stories and experiences. And beyond academics, I have the opportunity to work as a facilitator at Amra Notun Network, BRAC Youth Platform. So that has connected with me with youth action more directly. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sadia. Rosette from Rwanda, I'll go to you.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Rosette Nyiragaruka from Rwanda. I'm 28 years old. I hold bachelor degree in mathematics and biology with education. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosette. Esther, over to you.
Hello everyone, I am Esther Saque from Sierra Leone. Of course, I'm a passionate advocate for women and girls, including our youth. I am a young public health student, and through my work with the AIM program, I have access to discuss with young people with issues regarding teenage pregnancy, early marriage, sexual gender-based violence, and I have the opportunity to work with them hand in glove. So it's a pleasure being here, and I hope to contribute meaningfully to this conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. And last but not least, I see that Rimon from Bangladesh has joined or is trying to join. Rimon, are you there? Can you introduce yourself? All right. It seems like Rimon is having some technical difficulties. In the meantime, maybe we will move forward and we will move forward with you, Sadia. Your work in mental health awareness is truly impressive. Can you talk about what sparked your passion for mental health and what has your journey been so far?
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak again. So, mental health, my journey with mental health advocacy, I think it didn't start from any books or campaigns. It started from my own personal experiences. I have suffered from mental health, emotional, and mental health well being issues all throughout my life, actually. And I saw my peers, my family members even, suffer with mental health struggles, but there was no dialogue about it. Growing up, I saw that there was a huge stigma around mental health. Even today, even though we talk about awareness, that awareness seems to be still much on paper than reality. So I learned throughout my own experience and others that we still need to talk about it a lot more than we think is being talked about. That's what brought me on the ground level. I worked with different programs, different community projects. I remember working with one community project that brought me to a school, and I realized then the real experience of what mental health struggle looked like for children. Even we often think that maybe it is something that's only defined for young people or the older generation, but I saw that even the youth who are like adolescents, they are facing so much mental health stigma and problems, but they don't know how to identify it. They don't even know how to actually tag it and find the problems. And I found that there was a huge silence and gap in that conversation. So we needed more dialogue. My journey really brought me through this whole circle of, I should say, my own experiences, others' experiences. I connected them and I started working with it. And as I am working as a facilitator at BRAC Youth Platform Amra Notun Network as a volunteer facilitator, I had the experience of working directly with youth. And in our classroom sessions, we often set different ground rules, different values to make sure that we can create a genuinely safe space for them where they can express themselves. And I've seen that it really did create a great impact because they open up. They are waiting to open up. We just need to give them that hand. And I realized how much important it is that we talk about empathy, we talk about active listening. I realized that active listening could be one of the most radical act of care and empowerment that we can give to one another. So that is where my journey starts, and my journey is still going on. I believe I'm still figuring it out on the way, and I am trying to strip away that stigma that is holding us back, and I'm trying to create a space for them where youth could realize that their voices do matter. They are willing to be heard. They just need to tell their stories, and we need to create an empathetic society for them where they can actually talk, where they can actually express their struggles, and that they matter, that their voices matter. So this is what my journey looks like at the moment.
Truly inspirational, Sadia, and thank you for sharing that journey from personal experience to giving others a platform. That's how real movements start. You've also mentioned working as a volunteer facilitator with the Amra Nutun network. In your experience, what are the biggest disconnects between young people and older generations? How can we bridge those gaps?
So from my experience, I have had open discussion with our participants. Those are youth like me, and I've seen that the biggest disconnect or the differentiation is that it's not that our older generation don't care, it's that they see our problems through a different perspective, through a different lens. Whenever youth are talking about burnouts, anxiety, their own mental health struggles, these emotional vulnerability, the older generation often treat it as weakness or lack of resilience. So I see that disconnect, and it is happening every day, even in our own homes. In the participants I see, they talk about these struggles that they cannot express themselves because they have the fear of being judged, because we fail to see address how the youth today are going through tremendous pressure all the time. But the older generation often take their previous physical obstacles, and they don't actually address the emotional struggles that the youth today are facing. So there is that disconnect between them. So I think the best way to bridge that gap, as youth ourselves, we need to create a dialogue where the older generation and the younger generation can validate each other. We need to create non-judgmental safe spaces where they can express themselves. It doesn't have to be, our youth don't want instant solutions. They don't want to get well immediately. They just want to be validated. So the older generation and the young people, they need to have open dialogues. They need to have practices of empathy, non-violent communication, non-judgmental behavior. That is what we need to practice more and more, because awareness should be the beginning of our conversation. It should not be the end of it. And mental health is not a luxury, or it should never be an afterthought. So that is how we can bridge that gap, I believe.
Such a powerful reminder, Sadia. Thank you so much. We just need to have the platform to listen to each other in a non judgmental way. Thank you for that. I will move on to Esther, to you. You have extensive experience mobilizing and leading young people in Sierra Leone. You are a former mentor and youth advocate with the AIM program. You founded the Girls Empowerment Network in Sierra Leone, and you still lead anti-violence campaigns in your university campus. What has been the most fulfilling and the most challenging aspect of mobilizing young people in your community?
Thank you so much, Paroma. Thank you again for having me. Well, one of the most fulfilling aspects of mobilizing young people is seeing young people realize that their voices matters and they can actually create change in their communities. Of course, through my work with the AIM program and then moving forward to establishing Girls Empowerment Network in Sierra Leone and moving forward to my campus activities when it comes to advocacy, I have realized that when you have direct engagement with young people, they can get to express themselves and then talk about issues affecting them. Seeing a young girl that was shy and then now speaking up for herself is something to be grateful for. And of course, the most fulfilling is seeing young people expressing themselves, believing in their potential, and seeing how best they contribute to development. Mobilizing young people can be somehow challenging and can be difficult, of course, because many a times young people have that low self-esteem. They don't believe in their potential as a result of their financial backgrounds, their locations, or probably their academic struggles. So as a result of that, many a times, most of them choose to take the back seat instead of talking about issues affecting them. So I have worked with girls, of course, through my engagement with the AIM program. I was fortunate to be part of the participants that we are selected. So based on that, I thought it fit that I should serve as ambassador for change. The knowledge I've gotten so far during that particular sessions, I need to see how best I transform it to other girls as well. There comes the establishment of Girls Empowerment Network Sierra Leone, where I brought together girls for me to share what I've learned during the clubhouse session, during the AIM program, bringing up girls, telling them that their voices matters, they can contribute to change. They shouldn't be shy of speaking up about issues affecting them. So I believe that when young people are given the platform, they can contribute meaningfully to change. Young people shouldn't only be beneficiaries of development. They need to see how best to be called to the table. They need to contribute about issues affecting them. They need to take part in decision making. And I believe if we invest in young people, we are investing in the future. We are not only investing in them, we are investing in the future, and we are trying to see how best we create a safe space and platform for them. So basically, this is some of the things I believe when young people are given the platform, they can create meaningful change and their voices can make a difference in society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. You raised very important point that it's important to give young people the platform, grow them up to be very confident to raise their voices. Can you share an example when an adult or an older person championed the agency and empowerment of young people in your community? And what did you learn from that experience, and what can be learned from that experience?
Okay, thank you so much again. For me, my experience when an adult take the venture of leading young people or leading an organization is personally, an adult mentor gave me the platform to lead. So what I've learned from that is that when we move from telling young people what to do to actually giving them the platform to express themselves, it can be very much beneficiary. Because when adults lead, we see that they share their experiences, they have the required resources. Of course, they can take the agency of organization to another level. But when these young people are given a platform, when these young people are actually encouraged to go in for leadership positions, that can create a meaningful change. I can remember during the AIM program when I was just a participant before proceeding further to becoming a youth advocate. There were mentors doing that clubhouse sessions that were giving us the opportunities as young girls coming up to express ourselves, to learn, unlearn, and then to see how best we make mistake on the process. Sorry. So as a result of that, most of us were able to figure out that we are capable of doing things. And of course, if we are given a platform, we can do better. I was a shy girl before, but as a result of the AIM program, I was given the platform. to see how best I take part, lead my colleagues, add my voice to the chorus of change. As a result of that, that created and inspired me a lot to pursue further to establish in the Girls Empowerment Network, which is doing extremely well in Sierra Leone. So when adults lead, of course, the change can be very much effective. But when young people are given the platform, when adults give young people the platform, they can work hand in glove to ensure the great change. Of course, one thing I learned again is that adults can give young people the resources, they required money. But when young people are given opportunities, when young people are called to the table, when young people are given the platform to lead, there will be effective change. And adults and young people working together can create meaningful difference in our communities and in our societies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. That was an important important reminder that it's not just resources that young people need. It's the confidence, it's the space to take up leadership position that's going to make the change. Thank you so much for that contribution. Rosette, maybe I move on to you next. You were also a mentor and youth advocate in the AIM program, but more importantly, you are the National Youth Council Coordinator representing the Rugenda sector in Mohanga district of Rwanda. And under your leadership, the sector youth council was recognized as the top performer this year. Can you tell us what are the factors behind this success?
Okay, thank you so much, Paroma. As I told you, I'm Rosette from Rwanda, Safene Province, Mana District, Rugenda sector. As you asked me, the key factors used in my National Youth Council Coordinator to perform well, the first key factor is to collaborate with young people day to day for identifying the issues, the problems or challenges faced in him or her daily lives. The second key factor, we have to build our sport field where we meet different young people, we enjoyment, and we provide many opportunity available in our sector. The third, we collaborate with community leaders, with local community members, which help us to give an opportunity to the young people or to give an advice. Thank you so much about that question.
Thanks, Rosette. So you, in your youth council coordinator role, have been able to connect young people to opportunities and link them with community leadership, and that's sounds like has been a successful factor. And congratulations again on that recognition. Maybe a follow-up question. You mentioned working together with young people in your community, meeting them, collaborating with them, hearing about their challenges. What are some of the biggest barriers young people in your community face in achieving their goals?
Okay, thank you. The challenges our youth or our youth meet to achieve our goals. The first is unlimited resources, lack of financial resources, the barriers of how to get a loan, how to get bank services. It is the first challenge. The second challenge, it is lack of entrepreneurship training. The entrepreneurship training, it is a problem to many young people are educated, but the subject learning to connect with the Senate employment, it is a problem. The third one, it is the problem of the young people who dropped out the school at primary 6, who face the challenge of early marriage, teenager pregnancy, and drug abuse. Those are the challenges our young people face to achieve their goals. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosette. Thank you for naming those barriers so clearly. Understanding these barriers will lead to the solutions that hopefully young people will lead. On that note, let me go to our last but not least, the only male panelist in the group, Rimon. Can you hear us? Can you speak and introduce yourself? All right. It sounds like Rimon is still unavailable. In that case, let me move on to the last question that I wanted to ask. Sorry, I see Rimon back here. Rimon, can you speak? Can you introduce yourself to us?
Hello, I am Raymond Burua from Oxford, Bangladesh, and I'm currently studying biochemistry and biotechnology at the University of Science and Technology, Chittagong. I have started community work from 2020. I have established a non-profit youth organization and a community library.
Rimon, you're breaking up a little. I heard that you are from Chittagong and you've started your own enterprise. Let's hear if your connection gets better, and I'm going to try to ask you my question. Looking at your profile, you are a problem solver, right? You saw the challenges of textile waste and youth unemployment around you, and you found 3D to address them. You mentioned you're leading young people to develop solutions to challenges in their communities through youth-led initiatives. Looking ahead, what makes you most excited about the future? All right. Rimon, can you hear us? We may have lost Rimon's audio. I can see him, but not hear him. All right, let me move on. I'm going to try one last time. Rimon, can you hear us? Say something so we know that you can hear us. Okay, sounds like Rimon does not have good connection to join in the conversation right now. In that case, let me go back to the three amazing young women leaders that we had the discussion with. And yeah, I guess I'm going to ask you my last question, and I'm going to ask this question to each of you. You have each done amazing work in your communities, and you have each seen the challenges that young people face in your communities. If you had a magic lamp and you could make one wish to the genie on behalf of all the young people in your community and country, what would you wish for? I'll start with you, Sadia. What would be your wish?
Okay, so that is an interesting question. If I had a magic lamp, of course, I would wish for all of us youth, to have a safe, stigma free society where everyone is willing to listen to each other empathetically. Everyone is trying to build a connection where active listening is not something that we have to ask for, rather something that is a given actually. I would want a environment for youth where they can thrive, where their stories are always open to share with each other. I would wish that the youth today, they are suffering so much because of these hidden problems inside them that they cannot talk about, because they fear being judged, they fear being misunderstood, and they are often said to be very fragile. But we don't understand that it's not fragility, rather it is a conscious call for empathy, open dialogue, and a safe haven where they could just exist, just be human. So I would wish for a safe space, a safe society, an empathetically led society where everyone can be themselves, speak their mind, and share their concerns with each other, where peer support groups, these community support actions, these are not just written on paper or something that we are pushing for, rather something that is realized in day to day life. Even wherever we stand, I would hope that every youth could start that community action on their own. They don't need an established platform or even a big budget. They could start these action within themselves, having heard the people around us. Even that much, if we could do, each youth to ourselves, offer each other that space. That is what I would hope for. That is what I would wish for. That our youth will have that emotional safety net to sustain themselves, because emotionally healthy youth will bring about a resilient and sustainable change in society. Thank you.
Thank you. An empathetically led society for emotionally healthy youth. That's awesome. I'm going to go to you, Esther. What will be your wish?
Thank you very much, Paroma. If I have a magic lamp and I could make one wish for young people, that would be I will wish for young people to have equal access to opportunities, equal access to education, equal access to decent jobs, and for young people to be given the platform and opportunities to lead. Most of the times, what is kept keeping young people behind, what is preventing young people from aiming for higher peak, it is as a result of lack of opportunities. Some are fear of standing in front of people to express themselves, some because of their financial limitation. So I want to see a platform wherein young people, despite your gender, despite your financial situation, you are given access to opportunities to lead and you are part of the change. I will want to see a society wherein young people are called on board to talk about issues affecting them. Young people are given the opportunities. Young people are given skills development trainings, vocational trainings for young people. Most of the times, these young people might not have access to formal education, but when it comes to the non-formal aspects of it, they can make good use of it. I want to see wherein young people are ready to take the lead, young people are ready to create change based on the opportunities provided for them. We want a platform wherein once in a while or annually, young people are called on board to talk about issues affecting them, put it on a position paper, and then we can push further for it, for solutions to be given to those problems. And the government, NGOs, and other international organizations can work hand in glove to ensure the greater platform for young people. I want to see how best young people have that safe space for themselves where they can express themselves and talk about issues affecting them. Of course, we all know if we invest in the youth, we are not only investing in them, we are investing in the future. Sometimes when we call youth to the table, it can create meaningful change. So therefore, this is what I hope and want to see for the future for our young people, for us as young people. We want to see a safe space. We want to see how best we interact with each other, share ideas, knowledge, and see how best vocational trainings are provided for those that are not fortunate to go to school and acquire education. So thank you so much. This is what we want.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. And equal access to resources, rights, skills, and opportunities for young people. That's wonderful. Rosette, last but not least, what would be your wish?
Thank you so much. I wish my young people, especially those one who dropped out at primary six, to create the vocational training or TVET, which help them to get the basic skills like hairdressing, like nail care, like a carpenter, welding, and so on, which help them to breed a future or to create small business which help them to earn money in him or her daily lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Three wishes and one common hope that we have an empathetic society where young people have equitable opportunities for resources, skills, and their rights. Thank you so much for that. It says a lot about what matters most to young leaders like you. And that brings us to the end of today's conversation. I really thank to all our panelists for your honesty, your courage, and sharing your stories. You've shown us once again that young people are not waiting for change and they're leading it. To everyone watching, thank you for listening on this International Youth Day. Let us all carry that commitment forward to listen, to trust, to act alongside young people, to give them the opportunity and believe in their potential. Thank you, everyone. Good day and happy International Youth Day.